Can you see the camera?
Yeah, I can. Hello, everybody.
Hello, everyone. Oh, there's someone already there.
Hi.
Hello, Mella.
So this is our first time doing a live stream. So we are very excited, but there might be some technical difficulties. So please do bear with us and we'll see how we get. We're just going to see if enough people come, and do let us know if you can hear us properly and see us okay.
That's any audio issues, let us know along the way. Any other issues, let us know. And any questions you got, pop them in the comment box, because we're going to do a quick fire round at the end.
Yes, exactly. Right, let's have a little. Do you want to just get the link and put it on Instagram?
Have you not put it on?
No, we needed to get it on, so go on YouTube.
I thought that's what you do. How do I get the link?
Just go on our YouTube. Got 7 people. Woo!
7 people.
We're just going to wait for a few people to join us, and we're going to just announce it on our Instagram as well. So today we're basically just going to be answering the questions that you have sent in, and it'll be about the house, it'll be about us, and we might show you a little bit of a sneak peek as to some of the architect's drawings that we've got, that will give you a real good sense of what downstairs is going to look like, and the style that we're going to have. So yeah, stick around and hopefully you'll learn a little bit more.
How's everyone doing anyway? Are we watching the Euros today, or chilling out in the sun? Or where are we in the world, by the way? We're obviously in South Wales, but where are you guys?
Yeah. Yay! Hi everybody! Hi Kinging It! I'm Pat Davies.
You're gonna have to go easy on us, because this is the first time we've ever, for 2 introverted people, open ourselves up like this is quite a lot.
It's a lot.
I'm just popping the link on Instagram. Sorry.
So we've got some questions coming through, so that's brilliant. Do
you want to answer just a couple while we're waiting?
Yeah, so Pat Davies, your question is, are we going for food, flowers, or functionality with the garden? I think basically a bit of everything. We want a really nice chill area that we can hang out, but we want it to be really biodiverse. So lots and lots of plants. And if we can have some herb patches and some like food areas, that'd be brilliant. 101 projects has said, are your neighbours understanding? And we have to say, we have the most wonderful neighbours.
We totally lost out, haven't we? Totally.
They were incredible. We have actually stayed in both sides, looking after the dogs while we've been renovating, when they've gone on holiday. And they've just been the most tolerant people with all the sounds and the dust and stuff. And we have really loved them so much.
They both got dogs either side, actually, which is quite fun, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I think it helps that I'm a vet as well, so we do answer their veterinary questions when when they're a little bit worried. So that's really good.
Really good.
Brilliant. So should we start with some of the extra questions?
Yeah. How many people we got online?
So we've got 36 people.
Okay,
hello.
Here we go. Yeah, so we asked a lot of questions. We're going to start with a few house-based questions and then move on to some more personal questions. Yeah. So where are we?
So a lot of people wanted to ask kind of why we decided to go for such a massive fixer-upper and such a big project. I think we didn't really set out to have such a massive project. We wanted somewhere that we could have a base to go traveling for. But then we finally actually realized how much everything was, and realized that the only thing we could afford was a big fixer-upper. And I think personally for me, I knew if I was going to stay in one place, I wanted a project that I could not get bored with. We might have gone a bit overboard with that. But yeah, we found this place and just fell in love. And it probably was in the worst condition compared to all of the others. But
yeah, what did the estate agent say when you viewed up?
I called him to ask about the property, and I said the address, and he laughed and was like, oh, I'm not sure you could even call that a house. Yeah. So everybody was quite doubtful, but we saw the potential in the house, and definitely, I think you took about a step in to the door and we're like, yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah, I think when Paloma showed me, she was showing me in front of her mum as well, and we both, me and her mum, looked at Paloma and went, Paloma, stop it.
Yeah, we very nearly cancelled the viewing because everyone was calling me crazy.
Yeah.
But we're really glad we did because we love it, and it's been just the most wild journey.
We did view it on like a gorgeous like spring day, and we had like a spring last year which was dead sunny and no rain, but we've had like the worst winter ever, so it's been
challenging for sure, but it's been rewarding as well, so it's definitely been worth it. Someone asked us, have we ever attempted anything like this before? And simple answer is nope. This is our first home, and neither of us are in the construction industry. We're not architects. I'm a veterinary surgeon. Chris is a graphic designer, and we've been traveling for the last 3 years prior to this. So this is the first time that we've been in one place together, and first time we've like done any kind of building work. So it's been a real learning curve.
It's been a lot, but I think one of the things for me personally was I've been sitting behind a desk. I've been sitting behind my computer freelancing for the last decade or so, and I've always wanted to be a little bit more hands-on. So having this opportunity now has been like quite rewarding for me to get up and about. Although my floor mobs are killing me, actually, lifting all those bricks.
It's crazy. I did convert a van on my driveway before, so was DIY savvy before this, but that was nothing near bricks and mortar and roofs and things. So yeah, I think there's a little question saying that from Amina, hi Amina, that you guys have no experience and you're taking on a massive project as well. I think for us, it's been life-changing and it's been amazing. Do make sure that you're prepared to be stressed, and it is going to challenge you, it's going to challenge your relationship, and just make sure that like when those really high stress moments that you both acknowledge that it's not you that's annoying you, like it's not Chris that is annoying me, it's the situation, and being able to take yourself away from there, doing different like sports, and we've joined a yoga studio, and just having time together apart from the house is really important as well.
I agree. And also sometimes there are jobs that you can do together, and sometimes there are jobs that you just need to do on your own. Don't just like, I think a couple of the first jobs we were like trying to do it together, then immediately realized that we were just going to start arguing. And don't get disheartened if that is the case, because there are some tasks that are great together, we work really well, and then there's just some other tasks like putting up coving in the house we just have to do it on our own, and just work to each other's strengths is the really important thing. Definitely. Okay, where are you based? Why Wales?
I'm Welsh. I'm from South Wales, and we had decided if we were going to buy in the UK, we wanted to live close to either one of our families, and Chris has a really big family, and we did actually think about going to Liverpool at one point.
We did actually have a bid accepted on a flat in Liverpool city centre, which could have been quite a good project, right?
It wasn't as much at all, but it took ages for the solicitors to go through, and the house fell through in the end. And we realised we could afford something in South Wales, and it meant that I'm close to my parents. I don't have any siblings, so I can see them a little bit more often.
Your mum's trying to move in, actually, isn't she?
She is actually. You'll see her more around.
Okay. How did you figure out where to start? Well, that was quite tough, actually, because Paloma, to be able to afford this, because it wasn't mortgageable, the house, we had to use every single penny we had. And Paloma was we were both working really hard at that point. I was doing freelance work and you were doing veterinary contracts.
Locum work.
So I basically had the keys to myself for the first 2 to 3 weeks. And was just standing in the house like, I don't know what to do. And I was getting builders coming in to quote and contractors coming in, and they were talking about stuff, and I was like, I don't know what they're talking about. And if I make a decision right now, I know I'm going to get it in the neck, because Paloma told me I've made the wrong decision or something.
I'm a bit of a control freak when it comes to like details. I'll hyperfixate on each topic and really go into details, and Chris is more hands-on, learning on the job. So make sure that you're both involved right at the start. And we didn't start thinking about it at all until we got the keys. And I probably would advise to definitely start thinking about it prior to getting the keys, get in contact to like your different builders, the contractors, get your quotes in, get an idea of how much things are going to cost and what you need to do yourself to kind of make it feasible, and find people that are known to you. So ask your friends and family. We found our builder, who is just been the most incredible person. He is trying to retire. He took us on as like his last project, and he's really happy to advise us, and we do like all the labor work, and he can just jump in for like the big structures. Had we not asked our friends and family, we wouldn't have found him, and we wouldn't have been able to do as much of the work ourselves and save as much money as we have, because some of the other builders' quotes who wanted to just do the whole thing were just eye-wateringly high.
Yeah. They were about the same price as the house.
Yeah, it was the same price of the house without that didn't even include like windows and kitchen and things like that. So definitely word of mouth. Make sure that you're doing some planning beforehand.
Yeah, I think this is one of the biggest questions we're getting, especially from couples like ourselves who are buying a house and they don't know where to start. So if stuff like this is useful, obviously our YouTube videos so far have been storytelling of our actual renovation, but if that type of content is useful, we could look at making some content where we go through the process, what we've learned,
go into a bit more detail. So topics that you'd want to know if you're buying your first house. I think we would have found that really useful. So we're toying with the idea of maybe doing that. Let us know if that's something you'd like.
Some of the contacts we've made, like Rich from Sympathetic Restoration, Danny Sandhouse, people like that, they told us so much, and we're like, they're just DMing us saying, oh, you need to try this and this when you're doing the floorboards, and we're like, thank you.
So use your community, get to know people that are doing the same thing, because they are incredible. And it's really cool.
David Collar has said you should get King in it to help with your mice hunting. They are pros.
King has the same problem as us. Our mice have actually, they seem to have left the building. We found the mice nest, and it's been removed, and we haven't heard anything since. So fingers crossed.
The house is so open right now that we'll try and share some of this, but our Ring cameras are picking up the cats walking in and out at night. So I think that's also scaring off the mice as well.
The nosy neighbours are pretty much full-time residents now.
They're on full-on patrol, aren't they, right?
Megan Roberts have asked, are your neighbours' houses in better shape? Yes and no. We have found out that from really great people who've been sending lots of information about our particular area, and these houses were built in such a rush and are probably the lowest grade of housing. And so it does mean the brickwork is all a bit jumbly, and the lime mortar and everything like that. But we will say that this house was particularly bad because the lady that lived in it here really did struggle for a long period of time before she passed away, and wasn't able to do the maintenance to the house as she needed to. So a lot of the other houses around here have had the maintenance that we didn't have. So we're just basically clearing up the issues as we find them, but a lot of people will have fixed these problems in previous times.
I think like the back wall, as you all know, was so bad that like a lot of the bricks are like dust. But I think one of the reasons for that is that the back render wasn't maintained for like the last maybe 50 years or so. So when the cracks were forming and the water was getting behind it, it was trapped there for 10, 20 years, whereas most of the neighbours have been obviously re-render their house when the cracks form, or general maintenance in the guttering and stuff like that. So ours is really bad.
It's a lot, but we're getting there. And
quick question, actually. If you knew the brickwork, because obviously we couldn't see the brickwork, most of it, until we bought it and got involved. If you knew the brickwork was so bad, would you have still bought the house?
I think so.
Would you?
I think my heart was kind of completely already here. So I'm not sure if you get the sense of the house from the videos, but the thing that really, really sold this place to us was the incredibly high ceilings, the massive windows, every single room, even the north facing rooms, are really light, and that's like my number one thing, is having light houses. And in all the other houses that we'd seen, they looked the same from the outside, but they were much smaller, much lower ceilings. It just felt quite depressing. So when we walked in here and saw it, I was just like, yeah, I will do anything. And we quite literally are doing anything.
That's true, yeah. Okay, what we got next? Did you get a building survey? So like you're saying about the bricks, we could obviously see the back wall, wasn't great, but we did get a building survey.
We did, yeah. And I would recommend anyone that is looking to buy, do your survey. It's really good, just even in negotiating your price. So when you buy your house, you'll get an offer accepted, and then you have a chance to get in all your surveys. So we had an asbestos survey, we had a normal surveyor come in, and they will highlight things that you won't have noticed. And that means that then you can go back to your builder, or you can look at what it's going to be, it's going to cost to like fix that. And then you can say, actually, sorry, our offer was based on this, but now that we need to spend 10 grand on asbestos, or we need to spend 10 grand on fixing the guttering and on the roof, we want to change that offer. And it allows you to negotiate a little bit more, and obviously know whether or not you're prepared to take on the work that you're going to need to do.
Yeah. Okay, what's your timeline for completing? When will you move in? So we obviously have moved in. Like we're in our sanctuary right now, which is the one finished room,
the one bed.
Yeah.
It's not
complete
even
with Paloma's fireplace that you restored.
Yeah. So this room is pretty much nearly done. We just need to build the built-in wardrobes, so that is the least of our problems at the moment.
Original timelines, I'd probably say we originally said when we moved in mid-August, a year, right?
Yeah.
But basically we do still have ambitions to do major stints of traveling and come back. So it might be like 3 months traveling, 3 months in the house. So we do have ambitions to do that, but we've had to push back that timeline already.
I think originally we got the keys in September, and we had said that we were going to try and be in by April. Last April. So now we're saying that we're going to try and be in by Christmas. And,
sounds like a proper grand design, not it?
It is, yeah.
We'll be in by Christmas, and the next thing, they had a baby and they were behind.
We're not getting pregnant. I think that was actually one of the other questions, is if kids are on the horizon, and not at the moment. We are really busy people. We've got lots of things that we want to do, and we're just so tired. I'm not honestly, parents out there, you guys do such an incredible job. I just know that I wouldn't be able to deal with it at this point in time. They're not off the cards fully, but we need to see how we get on.
I've got my hands full waking up every morning. Paloma looking at me in the eye and going, I've got an idea. And I'm like, oh no.
So this project is enough of a baby at the moment.
Budget, cost of the house. We didn't know whether to actually open up about this at the start, did we?
Yeah.
Because it is obviously quite a personal issue, but we did announce
how much we cut. So we originally, our offer was
175.
Yeah. So we got an offer accepted of 175, and then once we had our survey in, we negotiated it down to 167.
Budget. I think because we're working really hard as freelancers to earn money to pay for the renovations, I think we originally said we'd like to do it for 75 grand.
Yeah.
But then some of the quotes were coming in the same price as the house, and we were like, oh my God.
So that went up to maybe 100K. But so far we have done a lot of the major work. So we've built the extension, we've had replumbing, we've done a rewire, we've replaced the windows, we've rebuilt the back wall, and I think we're roughly
just under 40K at the moment.
Yeah, just under 40K.
That is, once our builder's done the last bit of steel, I think that is all the major demolition done. And then it will just be, the big cost then will be windows.
Yeah.
And then probably plasterboard, I guess.
The back of you'll see later when we show you the architect's drawings, but the back of the kitchen extension is pretty much going to be all glass. So there's going to be a lot of money going into glass, but for the feel and for the design, it's worth it.
Hillary said, what about the charred beams in the attic? Should the survey pick that up? Good question, actually, because a few people like Rich from Sympathetic Restoration have said that maybe that's dry rot, and it's gone black through dry rot, but it does look like a fire, right? So I'm a little bit confused. Should the survey pick that up? I think they've got so many get out clauses for these survey. They do like a superficial reading of the house.
I think especially with a survey that came in here, there was so much wrong with the house. He knew that we were going to be doing pretty much everything. Things like looking into that attic, he looked into the main attic, but there's a second attic that I don't think he had a look at. So he did say there's no dry rot, but there is evidence of woodworm, which we knew about and we've treated. But I think your surveyor can bring up quite a lot, but there is always going to be, there's only so much that they can see from the outset, and they can't destroy the house looking for the problems. So you are going to kind of see things like that.
Okay, how do you fund the property and renovation?
Funding. So we haven't really gone into this in detail because it's quite hard to know how much to kind of share. But before we lived in the house, we lived in a van for 3 years, and we were working full-time jobs as graphic designers remotely from our van. So it meant that we didn't have any of the outgoings of like your normal rent bills. We had solar power. We were using gym memberships for going showering and things like that. So we, on top of that, had 2 full-time jobs. And when we came back to the UK, I would do locum veterinary work as well. So we managed to save up quite a decent chunk over that 3 years. And
I mean, I've been saving up for a couple of years before I even met you. So I did have a chunk of deposit anyway. And we just literally built that pot quite quickly, even while traveling.
I think at one point we were working about 5 contracts between us when we were knackered. And we did continue that work, the remote work, while I think it was the first 4 months we were doing it from the house, just to like get that kitty up. We've been really lucky that the Instagram set off so early on. So it was our first ever reel that went viral, and that has opened up a lot of doors in terms of sponsorships and being able to fund what we're doing. And it means that we can step back. So I think in February,
late January, we were like, okay, we're now running a new business, renovating a house and doing all our freelance work. Someone's gonna have to give here a little bit, right? So we were like, we're really enjoying this renovation adventure and we're riding the wave. So he's like, okay, let's really deep dive into not doing the freelance work and being full-time renovators and seeing how the sponsorship side of things goes. And we're doing very well. We're not yet in and nowhere near as much as we were, but if we can fund the house and then make a business out of it as we progress this, then that's probably the aim, right?
Yeah, I mean, we're basically on a tightrope, like balancing act as to like how much we can save by doing it ourselves, but how much we're losing by not working. But the social media is one of the kind of major things that's allowing us to do that. So yeah, it's been good. And if we get to a point where we run out of money, the beauty of freelance is that we can just pick up more shifts. I haven't done any veterinary work for a little while now, so I'm starting to look at maybe doing 1 day a week just to not de-skill.
And you enjoy the the charity side of stuff like
that,
right?
So I'm hopefully going to be doing some more charity work and stuff like that. But Calandra Locke has asked, what did we end up deciding about the bathroom?
We haven't.
We haven't. No, we have.
We're quite close, actually. We're going to talk about that quite soon, but do you want to say why not?
Yeah. I think
no bathroom.
Yeah, we're not gonna have a bathroom. No, I think in hindsight we're gonna go for a slightly smaller bathroom and have a bigger back bedroom. We're gonna put a shower in that is really big enough that we can put a full-size tub in if we do have children in the future, or if we want to sell and the new owners want a tub, we can put the plumbing in ready for that. But while we are a single couple and no family, we can enjoy a really luxurious big shower in the meantime.
Okay, we're going to try and make this about a 45-minute video. So we're going to move on to interiors quickly and then do some personal quick-fire questions, okay?
Yeah, let's do that.
That sounds good. So any fun questions, you've got personal ones, pop them down. But interiors, what type of look are you going for with interiors?
Victorian modern. Yeah. So it's very cliched, but it's a Victorian house. And I love restorations in all aspects. So old furniture, vintage finds. We love Facebook Marketplace, car boot sales. So that's kind of what we're going with the house. We're putting paneling. Well, we've put paneling in the bedroom. We're restoring the fireplaces. We're putting the coving back in. All the windows are sash windows. So yeah, making sure that it's kind of semi to the era, but with a little bit of a modern twist. And we love color. So we've gone a bit more mellow in the bedroom, but we are going to go a lot more colorful in a lot of the other rooms.
Yeah, so and we've just visited a very exciting stone showroom last week. And we've been looking at some quite exciting, like marble,
some really nice tiles that we can't wait to share with you.
From the Dolomite. Okay, what are your plans for the loft? So the main loft is directly above us.
Yeah.
And we did poke our heads up there, and we were thinking about doing a whole loft conversion at one point, but then we decided it's probably a bit too much, and the work would be too extensive because it was never designed to hold people. Is it the rafters or the joists?
Both. Yeah.
They're all too small, really. We'd have to rip everything out and start again. And we would be building a new house by that point, wouldn't we? But you have an idea for a little like library nook wall just above here?
So there's enough space for a nice little like love seat, and we're gonna put like libraries, and there's a massive window so you can see the view outside. So it's gonna be a nice little retreat area.
Would you do another renovation?
Oh, it would have to be a real project in terms of something really interesting to do so. I think we definitely want to stay in the house for a little bit longer than just finish and move on. We want to enjoy the fruits of our labor. But
don't be surprised if you see us in a chateau in France or a £1 house in Italy in the future.
Maybe.
Okay, so about us, right?
Yeah.
Why are your videos and shorts out of order? I don't know. Some of them I guess
they're mainly in order. We're just very chaotic people, and we do have about 100 different projects going on at the same time.
Yeah.
So
obviously our Instagram, we do our shorts mainly in order. YouTube, we're trying to keep things in order on there. Yeah. But we do fall behind on our shorts on YouTube.
Yeah.
So Instagram is the one you would want the most up-to-date short form.
Yeah. So if anybody hasn't, I can see a couple of people have found us on YouTube and didn't know about our Instagram. We definitely had our Instagram account like much longer. And so trying to catch people up on YouTube is one of the kind of best things. And also just to keep people engaged, we have a lot of dust and a lot of demolition going on, so wanting to kind of share some of the nicer parts of the renovation and just keeping ourselves engaged. Really, it's nice to kind of go back to some things that we have done already, just to kind of remind you guys that what the end goal is.
Okay, so about us, how did you meet?
How did we meet?
So Paloma was living in Cornwall as a vet.
Yeah.
After you graduated, I was traveling. I've been like traveling for about 6 years, freelancing. Then COVID happened. I was in South Africa at the time and had to get a repatriation flight home. And then I was back home for a little bit in the northwest of England where I'm from, and was like, okay, I'm going to be back home. Maybe I'll try somewhere new to live. And I was like, I had a holiday as a kid to Cornwall, and I was like, I've got this really nice memory of it. Let's go down. I know everyone's going to tell me off because that's what everyone in London did, escape to Cornwall. But I wasn't planning to buy a big house and not use it. Okay? No. I just went down there to freelance for a bit, and we did start talking on a dating app, but we hadn't planned to meet. And I went to a beach one day and was just sitting there reading a book high up in the dune. And I saw a girl walking across with a dog. And I was like, I recognize that dog. And I went through the dating app pictures and I was like, dog, girl. Dog,
same person.
So I said, if she comes, I said to myself, I was like, if she comes back, I might try and say hi. And you did. And you looked very confused why some random was shouting at you from top of a hill. But you clocked after a while. We just got chatting and went for a pizza, didn't we?
We went for a pizza that night. And the rest is history. We decided to move into the van together within a month, and we were on the road within 3 months. And it was quite the story.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it?
A couple of the questions from Instagram earlier.
Okay. If you could throw everything out the window right now and go live your dreams, what would that look like for both of you individually?
Ooh,
oh, wow.
This is from Kinging It. Thank you, guys.
Intense.
That's quite a big question.
Like it.
What's our dream life looking like?
Individually. So, I mean, obviously we've both got big plans to still travel the world some more. I think if you were to give me any job in the world and I could pack up my bags and do it, it would be to be a traveling photographer.
He's a really good wildlife photographer.
I'm okay.
He is. Check out his personal Instagram. I did get like a couple of local exhibitions when I was back in the Northwest and stuff like that. So that would probably be me going around with my camera, slumming it and crawling through the mud, trying to get a picture of a really rare bird in New Zealand or something. Probably together it would be traveling documentary filmmakers, because we have started doing that together, and we did get one film into a film festival. But what would yours be individually? Individually, I mean, traveling is a massive part. It's always been a massive part of my life, and I think being able to make a difference with that would be incredible. So I think the traveling documentary, being successful and meeting people and being able to share other people's stories is a really big part of that. And maybe if I could somehow start a veterinary charity that would help wide scale. There's some amazing charities that I've worked with before, and being able to do that would be incredible. So, but also I'd love to take on a huge project. I'd love to be a designer. I kind of wish I'd done architecture instead of veterinary at some point. Honestly, I think the last 3 years we were living our life in the most incredible way, that I do feel like we are choosing to do what we do because we love it, not because we have to. And there's not much I would change about our life right now.
Yeah, I think that's about right. I wasn't totally enjoying my video editing, graphic design work so much after the last couple of years, spending too much time behind a computer.
Yeah.
The work we were doing was for TV shows that I wasn't really engaged with, Love Island. But doing this is like really fun because we're really excited to wake up every day and learn a new skill, right?
Exactly. So. And I had left veterinary full time because I was completely burnt out. The COVID, being a new graduate, was impossible. So I wanted to just have some time away and kind of rediscover what made me happy. And we did that, like traveling in the van and documenting that, and then starting to go into documentary filmmaking. We found that passion again, and that was just amazing. Yeah,
we met some really cool. We've got some films that we shot when we was in Morocco. We made one of the films, but we've got another two, and they're such like amazing people, and we've got the footage there. We just can't find the time to do it justice, but in the future
Yeah,
We're gonna sit down and do it.
Once we have our editing suite in our
your
office, this is
yeah.
why we wanted this house, was so that we could come back and like edit people's stories and get a chance to really do them justice. So yeah.
Okay. Ex Kalisa says, "What's your fave paint color?"
Ooh, wool paint color.
I mean, this is a really funny example. Actually, this color in here is Dimity.
Yeah, this is the Faribault Dimity, but it's not Faribault because that's really expensive.
It's the B&Q color match knockoff one.
Yeah, so if you didn't know, you can color match anything in B&Q, and it's a really, really good deal.
But basically, we originally were going to go 2 colors in this room. The top color being this Dimity, and the bottom color being like an offset kind of what would you call it? Like a
taupe color.
Yeah. And when we put it on, we were like,
awful.
It looked awful. And it's really interesting how the orientation of a room and one color paint and one color floor and then adding another color changes everything.
Yeah.
Because as soon as we went from the really grungy floorboards to the nice floorboards, it changed the room straight away. It felt like a south-facing room all of a sudden. It was so bright. And then we were like, should we just remove that bottom color? And we did, and we was like, oh my God, that top color's gone from being like gross and yellow to like really nice and creamy, right?
Yeah. So I think probably don't have a favorite paint color. I would say it really depends on the space and the area and the things in it. And we're loving dark greens at the moment and like a burnt orange.
We have it. Every color scheme in every room seems to be green, orange, and woody tones. So, but we're thinking the kitchen's gonna be yellow.
Yeah.
Right. Another few quick fire questions.
Are you still living in the van? What about washroom, shower facilities in the house? A lot of people have been really worried about how we're going to the toilet. And I guess we got trained really well being in the van. We are living in the house at the moment because we've got this bedroom is finished and we've got the most comfortable bed ever. We currently have brought the porta potty from the van into the house and we're doing pretty well because it's exactly like we had in the van, just a lot more space.
We did only knock out our bathroom like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So we did have a functioning toilet. Up until then, we were just tipping water down. And it's been okay so far. Yeah, we do miss like having a shower in the house after work, but our neighbours have been super kind and we have like, we can go in for theirs for a shower and we have a local gym we go to. Yeah,
we've got a local gym that actually is really reasonably nice, priced and it's got a steam room, a sauna and a jacuzzi. So we're actually living it up.
We're going looking like coal miners and everyone's like, what's going on here?
Have a shower, go to the spa and feel real good. So I actually would really recommend it to anybody renovating. Make sure that you've got a good gym membership that has some nice facilities.
How many times have you fallen out over what you have both taken on? I would say we're doing
not much.
Not a crazy amount. We bicker, but it's very rare. We haven't like fallen out where we've stormed out the house and not spoke to each other for a few days.
We've never considered selling the house.
I've listed it already.
Oh, yeah.
No, I think we do quite well. We do. I would say I get quite ratty in the morning before my coffee's kicked in.
And I get ratty in the evenings after 12, when I'm really tired.
In the evenings, after lunch, she wants to fall asleep and have a nap.
It's just basically knowing each other. And I think traveling together for 3 years prior to this
is a real test.
It's a real test. So if you can live in a van together on your own and not bicker for that much time and spend 24 hours together, you're going to be fine restoring a house. It's just... It goes back to kind of acknowledging when your frustrations are to do with a person or to do with the situation you're in, and make sure you've eaten, because normally ratty hunger, and take yourself away from the situation.
Yeah, honestly, just go
take
for a
breathe,
walk,
go for a walk, and then say sorry. Always say sorry, even if you don't mean it.
Even if you don't mean it.
It's always, we never have had an argument that has lasted more than a couple of hours. And I think that's been key as to why we still enjoy doing this and why we're still here.
Elaine. Hi, Elaine.
Hello.
We know you from Instagram as well. So. You'll need a shower sauna in the backyard. Well, we do have plans for a sauna in the backyard. We don't know if we can make that a reality, but it's on the cards.
It's on the cards. We've actually just got planning permission
for our studio
in the backyard, and it does. So we're going to have a woodworking shop because I love to be messy, and we love woodwork and pottery and things like that. And we wanted a space that we could be really creative and not be worried about our beautifully pastel walls. So that's going to happen. And just at the end of this video, we'll show you the plans that are amazing architects at Bespoke Living. They have come up with some really cool ideas that we're going to be implementing.
Your mom said, will you be serving Christmas dinner in your new kitchen?
Yeah.
She said
it might be on the floor. It might be very dusty, but we are going to have Christmas. Right. Chris has a massive family, and we are hoping to host all of them. So let's see. You can mark our words, but we'll have something resembling Christmas.
You heard it here first. We'll be in by Christmas. Delif the corgi,
neighbor next
door said, when will my little door be installed?
So we love our neighbors so much that we have collectively come to this agreement that we want a little hobbit door with a ring camera, so that Delith can just press the little ring camera and we can open the door. She can come into our garden when she likes.
That would be quite good, actually, wouldn't it?
So
I'm not sure how the nosy neighbours would feel. Juliet and Morgan said, how are you?
How are we?
Very good, thank you. How are you?
Very tired. But happy, yes.
Pena says, are you enjoying the process?
I think it's quite obvious we are.
I think that's the biggest thing we are, because like I say, the builders who were quoting us really high wanted us to give them the keys and then come back in 6 months and it's done. And one thing about that is they can do whatever they want and just hide it best they can. And the other thing is we don't learn any new skills, do we?
Yeah. I think we both love learning things and learning new skills and learning new topics. And this has just been the most incredible journey. Like one day we're a roofer, one day we're plastering, one day we're demolishing things. Like, it has been such a journey that we now know this house inside out, that we would not have any idea if somebody else was doing it. And it just means that we have the confidence that if we ever did have something go wrong, we know how to fix it. And that's been just the most incredible thing. And the people we've met, our builder, our plasterer, like, there are so many people that help us and are part of our team that we are so grateful for, that we wouldn't have met otherwise, and we wouldn't have gotten to know as friends. And I think that's kind of our main happiness and why we're enjoying this so much. And you guys, honestly, the Nosy Neighbours community have just been incredible. And
you literally have. You pick us up. You pick us up when we're down. You send us pictures of cats. What more could we ask for?
We always say that we can't believe how lucky we have been to find this particular community, because you guys are nice. Like, we barely get any negative comments.
Negative, but barely. I mean, we're fine with constructive comments.
We like constructive criticism, and we love it when someone goes, "Oh God, you need to do something else because that's not going to work." That's brilliant. But we don't have trolls very often, and we are so thankful for that, because
a couple of times we have. Most people shout them down.
Yeah, you guys are a good little army for us. But honestly, if the community wasn't as supportive and kind, we wouldn't be doing this.
It would be quite tough, because even the odd troll we do get, they're the comments that stay in your head.
They do, and it's really, you have to just remember all the lovely comments that are coming instead. And people check in on us all the time, and it's so lovely. Like,
we get people asking, "Are we dead?" after not posting for 3 days.
And last time they saw me was on a roof. But yeah, I think all of these people, all of you lot, have had such a massive part of why we're enjoying this so much and making it possible. So thank you.
All right, I think they deserve to see some architect designs.
Right. I need to figure out how to do this.
So while she's working this out, have you got any more final questions for after the drawings? Pop them in the comment box now. And also let us know how we can improve these Q&As as well. Give us a rating out of 10. Tell us what we can do better. What has Ant said?
Oh, hang on.
How do you deal with getting old and not being able to do the DIY you used to? Well, I'm feeling pretty old already, to be honest. No, I don't know. Obviously, when you get to a certain age, then you probably wouldn't, would you? But at the moment,
I mean, we're feeling it. Our muscles are feeling it. Right. Are you ready?
Actually, ignore how the hall looks currently, because doesn't look.
Yeah, the
exactly
color
how
of
we
the
want it
staircase is going to be slightly different, but it's going to give you an idea. So,
can everyone see that?
Can you see this? Is that all okay?
Yeah,
I'm not sure if we can see anybody.
I'll have a look.
So this is the hallway, and the actual upstairs is going to be a lot lighter because we have the skylight in there, and that's where we're going to have that kind of visual going up.
And the top of that hall is going to be super bright, not dark like that, because we got.
Yeah, that's what I just said. Yeah.
Sorry, I was semi-not.
And then this is our living room. We've gone for like a dark green, which is really, really cozy. So this room is a north-facing room, and we wanted, the rest of the house is so light that we wanted somewhere that we could kind of retreat to and just be really, really cozy on those winter nights, and have a bioethanol stove. These doors here, they're gonna be bifolding doors, so this is going to open up all the way. So when we do want we have a lot of people around, or we want to be able to kind of just speak and talk through into the dining room, we can do that. But on cozy nights, we can close it up and keep the warmth, which is really important.
Yeah, and this isn't probably like obviously like the finished furniture and stuff like that. It's more to give you an idea of the space and stuff like that, and what it could look like.
Exactly. And then so this is
the middle room.
The middle room. Again, those doors will be able to open up all the way and see the living room and dining room in one place. But this currently is a window to the outside.
I had to petition for this to start with. But I think you think it's your child now, don't you? So this basically where that window is used to be outside. And we obviously couldn't knock that totally through and have one big entrance into the kitchen. But we decided to semi-separate the rooms still and leave the window where it was as a throwback to the original layout of the house, but knock it through. So there is a visual line through the house into the back garden.
Yeah.
But it still separates the space. So
it means that we can kind of have a desk there, and it's not an open plan that's not usable. It's still open plan, but we can kind of have designated zones as such. And that's from the other side. And then this is our kitchen. We're not sure about the copper fridge. I don't know if anyone has seen Lone Fox. He did this incredible thing with his dishwasher, and I was like, oh, could we do it with our fridge?
Yeah.
But looking at it, I'm not 100% convinced, but we might try.
I don't think the render does it just. The renders are amazing, but I don't think that does the copper doors.
No.
Just does it, right?
But we are going for like the yellow kitchen with an island.
Ploma's on the lookout for like an antique type of French piece of furniture to go underneath as the kitchen island. So we're keeping an eye out.
Exactly. And in here we've got the hallway has been blocked off, and that's going to be our utility room. One of the questions was, what are we going to do about laundry? We're basically building our own little laundry nook that's also going to have a downstairs toilet. So yeah, that's what's going to happen with that one. And there it is. And so this is the extension basically that we have been building. We've got a window seat that we're going to be sat around, a really beautiful bench with a table, these crystal windows. We haven't found a supplier just yet, so if anybody does have a supplier for crystal windows that they recommend, do let us know.
This brickwork on the back wall. So we're trying to save as many of the bricks as we can, and as you know, they're not great. But the good ones, we want to try and utilize some of them as like brick slips on the back wall. We might end up painting them white or keeping them real, just the bricks. But that's something we're going to look into, about cutting like thin discs off the bricks and putting them onto our walls as like a nice little feature.
We're not sure if it's going to be possible, but we'll give it a go.
Definitely.
And this is what it's going to look like on the outside. We just really loved the corner and how it kind of gives a bit more visual interest. This garden isn't what we're going to actually end up with. It's just that SketchUp can't deal with the number of plants we want, so it gives you an idea.
Yeah.
There's going to be herbs garden in this area here, and so that's
just on this one. Our original orientation here was to have the couch on the wall you can see there and the TV on the party wall with next door neighbors. But would you keep it like that, or would you flip it? Because I think if you flip it, you're kind of semi looking into the garden, not looking at the our side wall, right?
Yeah.
So that's something we are still debating.
Something to do. But so that's pretty much everything. Hello, we're back. So it's been an incredible journey, and I think having our architect we absolutely adore, and he's really dangerous because he says a story. He says an idea and we're like, oh my god, we have to do it, and he will run with it, and it's great to be able to bounce off with somebody. And we are really careful with our budget on a lot of things, like our flooring is reclaimed, where we do most of it ourselves, but it means that we can have that budget for when it really matters, so we can use a little bit more expensive sustainable products, and we can use the kind of expertise of an architect who can really open up the doors for some things that we just wouldn't have come up with ourselves.
Definitely,
and having those visual keys to be able to kind of see where we're working for is just really motivational, and gives you guys an idea of what we're going to be doing. Which is
and I don't know if we mentioned it's the company, did we?
So it's Bespoke Living.
So definitely do check them out, because they're like the nicest team, and they're literally making our visuals, like our ideas come to life, and it's amazing.
They're amazing. So,
and they're so down to earth and nice, and they work across the country. So
so check them out if you can.
Definitely.
So I think that was another question somebody did ask earlier about SketchUp. Our architect used SketchUp, and we also started kind of having a play around, and it's a really good way of like figuring out your layout and seeing what it's going to look at. If you look on Skillshare, there's a really good course that kind of goes through how to use it, and it's free to use on SketchUp. So I definitely would recommend it as something to look into if you are doing your own renovation.
It's really good fun if you've got the patience to learn a program like that. If not, ask Paloma, she'll probably want to draw.
It's basically real life Sims. So if you like the Sims, it's brilliant.
All right, well, should we wrap that up?
I think that's enough from us.
Do let us know if you enjoy these Q&As, obviously, because I know we're waffling, but we don't know if this is interesting or there's other things you would like us to include in these type of things to, I don't know.
I think we never get to waffle. Everything's so short, and we're very like our content is very pacey, so it is nice to be able to just be a bit more relaxed with you lot and get to know us a bit more. So thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll be back in touch when our next Q&A is up. We are thinking of ramping up the YouTube videos to these daily videos, which we're hoping is actually going to save us time. But we're brainstorming with that. So if we don't see, what's that saying? I don't even know. See you later, alligator.
No, thanks for joining, everyone.
Thank you so much. And keep an eye out for our daily videos. We're going to do a trial run. It's not going to, you're not going to say goodbye to our normal videos just yet. We're going to see how people enjoy them. And keep telling us what you think and what you like, because we're doing it for you lot.
Okay.
All right.
Have a nice day, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Press it.
Oh.